Hi. Thanks for tuning in my channel. Sorry, I feel super awkward when I say that. Super cliche. But anyways, I'm making this video because somebody had reached out to me through my channel who is new to wigs, battling cancer. I don't want to say her name because, that might be too much. So anyways, her hair is grown back in, but not the way it was. It's more thin. It's very common with, when we lose our hair, people lose their hair because, from cancer, from chemo and things like that. So she had a whole bunch of questions. And so I said I would do a video on this, hopefully to help her out. I did not write any notes. This is just based off of everything that I know. So, I'm going to go at it. Anyways, so her first question is she's worried about how wigs would fit if they shift when they're worn. So my advice is when you're looking at wigs, you need to measure your head size. I'm not going to do a video on that. There's a million of them out there. You just need a soft measuring tape. And so you can measure, the main thing is measuring your circumference and, from forehead to nape. That I would say that's probably the most important measurements you got to make, because if you have a big head, certain wigs are not going to fit. If you have a small head, you're going to drown in larger sizes. Now, with that being said, all wigs are not created equal. So, for example, just because you can fit into, a couple John Renault wigs doesn't mean they will all fit the same way. They all fit differently hand-tied. They all fit differently synthetic. So, like many of us, I've wasted lots of money buying wigs online because I didn't want to go into a wig boutique. I actually had, but the way they treated me was awful, so I didn't want to do it again. I was too embarrassed. I did go back to have my wigs thin there. Then I found a new place. So, my best advice is to go into a wig boutique. Hopefully they set up an appointment. If they're a good boutique, they won't charge you to try on the wigs. That's bad business. They shouldn't do that. So, but it is a good idea to go in there and try on the different styles or tell them what you're looking for. I know that can be very anxiety driven because your hair loss is very personal, and when you're new to wigs, you're not at that point where you can just be open about it. So, but this is the point where you've got to be transparent about what you're dealing with and go to this place. It'll save you so much headache as opposed to just combing through YouTube and Instagram, all the different websites, trying to find pieces. You can get suggestions, but at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to work for you. So until you get your head measurements and you get a feel for different pieces, because they all fit differently. I have a small head, and there are some, this is a Balmain wig. This is Angelina. She fits me perfectly. And they have another hand-tied one, Leonora, that she fits me, absolutely perfectly, almost on the small side. So I wouldn't even recommend that, for a larger side. Even medium, depending on how your head is, how your measurements are, could fit too tight or fit perfectly. But like in John Renault, I have tons of different John Renault wigs, and some of them fit my head perfectly. Some of them are too big. I had two Minas in different colors, and one of them was way too baggy and I had to thin it out. And the other one was perfect density, fit my head, perfect, like a little loose, but not to that uncomfortable baggy feeling. So it really just depends. I could tell you which one's going to work for you, but I don't know. I don't know your measurements. No, at the end of the day, no one that you talk to is gonna be able to know for sure. And like I said, all the caps are different. So it's really, there's no guarantee on how a specific brand will always fit you, because it will change depending on the wig, whether it's hand tied, wefted, it's going to change. So that's something you have to keep in mind. So when you get a wig and everyone says, oh, it fits in my small head perfectly and doesn't fit you right, well, you might be, it's just like, not everyone who's a size 8 in their waist will be able to fit into a size 8 jeans. You might have smaller hips or a smaller butt, or your legs might be too big. It's all it varies on your body. So as far as how wigs fit, it varies, and the best way to save money is to go to a wig boutique. Hopefully you live near one, to see how the different brands, and take notes. Some places will have a different label on the wig because they don't want you to just try them online there. If you go there, tell them like, hey, I know I can buy this, like price match. Say I can buy this wig online at this website. Like have a little bit of a game plan of different wigs you've been looking at. Write your notes down so you know the colors, the styles. They won't have everything. If you call ahead of time and say what you're interested in, they might want you to put like a deposit on something, and that's okay. Like but if they're a good company, ask them like, will you honor the 30% discount that all these online stores offer? You might pay like $15, $20 more, but at the end of the day, you're able to try on these pieces and without paying full price for a wig, because it sucks when you don't have money to just piss away on wigs, like sending them back and whatever, reselling them, or like me, I have like 10 wigs that I gotta sell and they're just sitting there because you bought them online and you didn't know what the color was like and this, that, and the other. And figure out, just go, if you can go to a big wig boutique, that is my best advice. If not, then it'll take a lot longer, but get your wig measurements and go, pick, like as far as online sources, I love Beauty Nook. So I use Beauty Nook, and you can call them and message them and say like, hey, these are my measurements. This is what I'm looking for. And they can help you that way. The other thing that you need to figure out is what your complexion, are you warm toned or cool toned? So people say that you can alter your makeup to make your complexion match the hair color, but that's just like a lot of extra work. And so it is best, instead of trying to take that gamble, it's just important to know what wig colors work with you. And because I have such a great relationship with my local wig boutique, it's Haley's Designer Wig Outlet. I love them. They're like my family there. I can come in there whenever. It's no big deal. But I love them. And, I've been able to try on colors there to know, I know that Palm Springs Blonde does not work for me. Cool colors does not work for me. It looks awful. I mean, yeah, it's popular and trendy and everything, but it does not work for my skin tone. If when I wear it, I look older, it ages me. Like, these are things that are important to know. I mean, you can, at the end of the day, yeah, you can wear whatever kind of wig, whatever kind of color you want. But if the goal is that you want to feel pretty and confident, and so some of these colors just won't go good with your complexion. Everybody wants to do blonde, but blonde doesn't work for everybody. It can age you. I tried on Laguna Blonde. It takes a special skin tone to be able to pull that off, I tell you, because that looked awful on me. And so, now I kind of had an idea anyways, but now I know, not to mess with those colors, and there's some dark colors I can pull off, but some are too black, even like shaded cappuccino just does not work with my skin tone. The human hair version does, it's warmer, but that one does not work. So these are things that you need to think about. So what other questions? Do they shift when worn? Okay, so this is all based on your personal preferences and how wigs fit on you and how sensitive you are. With me, like, sure, for a short period of time, there's some wigs I can just throw on because they fit me snug, and I can just, go about, like, take my daughter to school or whatever. But for all day, like, if I'm working, I need to focus, and I need a wig grip. It wasn't always like this. At first, I hated wig grips. But I found some that aren't bulky in the back. I still have those just as a backup, but you know, I found some that aren't bulky in the back, and I like them. And now I don't have to worry about gluing down my wig. I used to do that all the time, and now I don't. Like, it changes over time. Your preferences and what you like can change over time. So just be open-minded. Try the wig, that roll-on stuff. It stays. You know, like, try that. You just, the key with that is make sure it's drying and it's tacky before you you know, put it on, otherwise it'll slide everywhere. Got to be glue. That stuff is way more intense and more hardcore. Wig grips, you know, and wig grips fit, like some of my wigs that are fit very tight, I have to use a silicone wig grip because it's thinner. So it just depends on the wig. It depends on you. When my head shaved, things stick better. When I had longer hair and it was like thin and easily greasy and slippery, wigs would slip. But for a while, I was just wearing the nylon wig cap. I would get it wet and stretch it out so it would stick to my head and not slide off. And the cap, you know, everything would be fine. Now I don't do that. I want more security. It changes with how you feel. Like, you just got to experiment. You know, investing into wigs is, like, I'm just gonna be honest, it's not this cheap, just try this option and move on. No, it is a series of you know, successes and failures and trial and error, and you got to see what works with you, what makes you comfortable, you know, how much money you're willing to invest, things like that. So wigs, you know, some people, if I just wore a wig without a cap, like, it doesn't feel secure to me, and some of them are itchy. And what I like about the wig grip is that it's just enough of a barrier to where it doesn't, the wig's just not like resting on my head, making it itchy, because I get super sensitive. That's why a lot of times I prefer double, you know, monotops over lace fronts. So let's see, what are the other questions? Yeah, how does it hold to the scalp? That's kind of the same thing as it just depends on how much maintenance you want to do. Like, do you want to use Got To Be glue? Which I did a video on how I use Got To Be glue for the wig I used to wear for my military job. I've used Got To Be glue forever. I have tubes of it just sitting there. You know, but try it out. Try everything and see what you're most comfortable with. I just hated that stuff because it was gooey and would stick to the wig and make it gross and nasty. I just need low key. I need low key, low maintenance. So it just depends on what, you know, you gotta try the different things out. Try It Stays. Try Gotta Be Glue. Try different wig grips. All wig grips are not the same. I hate the Milano wig grip. It doesn't seem to stick at all. I don't like it. I don't like it. You know, there was a silicone one I got off Amazon that was super tight and I hated it, but I don't mind the wig fix. You know, there's different ones. We all have different preferences. So, you know, if you can, just try them all. Let's see, what kind of cap is best to be worn on the inside? I don't know exactly what that means. So for me, I'm gonna say that I like hand tied. I don't mind wefted, but I feel like hand tied is way less itchy. They're lighter. They feel better on my head. Yeah, I don't know exactly what you mean by what kind of cap is best to be worn on the inside. Maybe you mean like the nylon cap. That is just preference. I haven't worn a nylon cap for like a very long time. So you just got to try this. Try the fishnet ones. Try the regular ones. I do recommend, though, that you get the lightest colored wig caps because it will help mimic that scalp appearance. So just keep that in mind. How it holds to the scalp. I told you about that. Holds up to weather and wash. So synthetics, this pattern will stay regardless of the weather, you know, if it rains or if it's humid, because it's synthetic. Human hair is a whole different ball game. You know, if I think it might rain, I am not wearing human hair if I think I'm going to be exposed to the rain, because then it alters the curl pattern. Unless it's already wavy and you don't mind that relaxed look, in humidity, be a giant frizz ball. So you know, if you live somewhere it gets humid, you probably want to stick to synthetics. Well, that keeping that in mind, I feel like hand-tied and human hair is the coolest as far as heat. I feel like synthetic traps it in, and I feel like the wefts are like heavier and thicker, and my head feels more hot when I have that in, when I have those on and it's summer. So, you know, these are all different things to consider. Washing, synthetics, you get synthetic shampoo, you know, wash it according to instructions. You just, you know, and it depends on where you get your instructions from and on how they say to do it. So just find what works for you, and you know, there's not one right way. You know, there's wrong ways. Don't ever use hot water, but you know, there's a lot of right ways of how you could wash your wig. So just do what works for you. And then with human hair, you gotta get the human hair products, not just regular human hair, good wig specific products for both. I have a video I did a while back on different products I use. So you can check that out. I still use those same products, the ones that I recommended. So check it out. Also, when I get lazy, I just have my wig boutique style everything. And the thing with human hair wigs is that you gotta understand that it gets tangly because of the return hairs, and that's like a whole nother video. Maybe I'll do a video on that specific. Return hairs are what keep it tangly. So there's just a lot to do to keep them maintained. But the biggest advice I can say is throughout the day, whatever you have, synthetic or human hair, finger comb and get the right wig brushes. Okay, so all wigs are washable. Please wash your wigs. Your cap will get disgusting and sweaty, and it'll probably fall apart faster. That's the one thing I liked about the nylon cap, is that it does protect the wig cap, you know, for a longer period of time. It's going to keep it in better shape. Just something to keep in mind, like hygiene, you know, sweat, odors, things like that. Okay, giving you advice on what type of wig is the best. Along with inside cap, pricing on wigs. All right, so I can't answer that question. That is like opening Pandora's box. There's not one wig I can say is the best. Okay, there's not one wig I can say is the best. At the end of the day, more or less, they're all similar. They all use, you know, if you're getting human hair wigs, if it's Remy human hair, the quality is similar. If they're synthetic, you know, and it depends on who made the wig, and there's different, you know, manufacturing. There's like, I think there's 2 different ones for John Renault for a lot of them. So, you know, like my Alexis, I have a ton of different Alexises, and they all are more or less, like some of them are similar, but some of them are different. Like my Toffee Truffle one, the hair is denser, but like my Shaded Peach one, you know, the hair density is lighter. So, while I love Alexis is probably one of my favorite synthetic pieces. I also, because I have a wig addiction and I have a lot of different wigs, I am not wearing the same wig every day. And if I have a long one, like I wear to work, I wear it up, so it lasts longer. But if I wore a synthetic, even a human hair wig down all the time, you know, it's gonna get tangly. And like I said, with human hair wigs, if you're not trying to, cut out those return hairs, if you do that, you take the time to do the return hairs, your wig, you know, will last a lot longer. Haley at her wig boutique, she's had her, you know, 12FS8 Blake last, you know, a year of like daily wear because she cuts out the return hairs. So that's going to help. You got to make sure you're doing the proper conditioning, but you got to make sure you are not overdoing it with the products. Okay. So that's something else to keep in mind. You need product, but you know, little goes a long way. And that's something that I'm still trying to work on, because I'm usually like, oh, more silicone, the better, you know, and it can make it get gunky and more gross. So, you know, you wash your wig after like 10 wears, and then, you know, and make sure you condition it properly. Make sure you're finger combing it. I like, so far I love, like, Aesthetica has a great line. All my wigs, even the wig company, they have very inexpensive wigs, and I love those pieces. And you know, I used them for a lot of daily wear recently, and they're actually starting to like wear out now, but you know, they're super affordable. It depends on what your price range is. You know, I mean, you can get wigs that are like $10,000. I'll never be one of those people, but you can. And I guarantee that hair is going to be the same as the Remy human hair you got from John Renault. It depends on how you take care of it and the maintenance that you put into it and how long it'll last. So that's all I can say about that. Like, I can't give you one name. I love them all. It depends on what mood I'm in, what color I want. I just ordered Alexis in chocolate cherry. I can't wait to get her. I got a Zion in that melted plum. You know, obviously I'm not going to wear that every day, so I can't, you know, recommend that. You know, and it just is preference. Some people love Noriko. Noriko wigs tend to be itchier on me, and I feel like they're more wiggy looking. But the more I wear wigs, you know, a lot of times I don't care. Like it. So at the end of the day, you can wear whatever wig you want. You got to learn how to work with it, and it boils down to confidence. You can have a $10,000 wig on, but if you're not wearing it right and keeping it out of your face, and if you're not confident in it, you're gonna look like a doofus. I've seen people in expensive wigs and they look ridiculous because it's just not. Well, their eyebrows too. That is a whole nother video about eyebrows. It's not the wig, it's your eyebrows. So keep that in mind. But you have to be confident in the hair you wear. That I think is really important. I mean, if you can't afford an expensive piece, there's cheaper ones you can get. Like, I've seen really cute short ones. If I was into short hair, but here's the thing, I feel so self-conscious that I think if I went out in it, I would just look doofy because I'm not confident in myself in short hair. Okay, so I'm running out of memory, but I just want to say that I know this didn't give you any definitive answers, but it's just things you've got to think about. So you've got to learn to experiment, go to a local wig boutique that'll just really put your anxiety at ease with what works for you, and just understand that it is a learning process. You will not nail it down on the first time. If you do, let me know. I'll be impressed. But anyways, I hope this video was helpful, not just to you who asked, but to anyone else. Please let me know if it was, or if you have any other questions that I didn't address. Just let me know. Have a shout out. Just remember that boils down to your confidence and how good a wig looks on you. If you're not confident in it and you don't have it on right, like, you're gonna look ridiculous. And if your eyebrows look awful, then it look ridiculous. But if you're confident, then it's gonna look a lot better. So confidence, you know, is everything. So thanks for watching, and everyone have a good day, and I will talk to you soon.